might be causing some extra sound on there. I am not sure. This. I'm going to do this for a second. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad that you guys are here. And I've got some special guests with me, and it's been so much fun actually chatting. I always have everybody come on in, a few seconds ahead of time so that we can chat and we get to see, we get to make sure that the tech is working and all of that great stuff. And as we were chatting this morning about, making sure our tech was working, it's kind of cool listening to all of the different places that we have already been for the day. So you are going to be able to get to hang out with 3 tutors that seriously do this like all the time, tutoring online, and you're going to get to hear about our favorite tech. So I have asked Atul Rana to join us today, and he is from the UK, and he has been really working a lot with dyscalculia kids and math, and he has such a cool story. I'm so glad that he has decided to join us, and he's also the reason why we have a contest going right now for our Hue HD camera, because he actually bought one of these and has been using it with his tutoring business for quite a long time. And if you haven't seen the review that I have done on this camera, definitely check it out, because you get the opportunity to win one. All you have to do is enter that raffle. And to enter, you subscribe to this channel, you fill out the form, and comment on one of these videos. It's easy as that. And if you want additional way to be able to get some more names thrown into the name randomizer, comment on as many videos as you want, and each one counts as one extra entry into the raffle. So come and join us. And then we also have with us today Elaine Lingard, and Elaine has her own tuition center and also tutors kids during the day from wherever she is. Maybe it's her home, maybe it's her center, who knows? You never know where Elaine's going to be, but she's in Ireland, and she has been teaching reading, and she teaches math and spelling and lots of different things to kids all over the world. So let's start with Atul here. I am going to unmute there, make sure we've got this clear. All right. Apparently, I'm having issues unmuting Atul. Let's see if there we go. You got it. Perfect. So Atul, where have you been so far this morning?
Wow. This morning, the favorite question is like, what's the weather like? Because for most of the world, it's been pretty cold. So, I've been asking students in various parts of the world. I started off with Singapore. I always see it's the morning for me and it's the evening for them. So I start off my morning seeing a Singapore sunset. And yeah, it's just a cool. I have that twice a week, and my student lives on the like the 13th floor of an apartment by a marina with boats and stuff. So pretty much every time I ask him, can you show me the sunset, like what's happening, and by the time we finish, it's pitch dark. So we start at daylight, it's dark, and for me it's the morning. So I sometimes he doesn't see snow that often, so I show him snow like whenever we get it here. So that's one really cool thing to do. And and then I moved to I had a student in the UK in the daytime, then over to the United States, North Carolina, where it is also very cold, but not as cold as everywhere else. And then to North Yorkshire in the UK, and finishing in London, and now here we are. Yeah.
Look at that. That's so cool. Yeah. And it's so funny because here, Atul is over there in the UK, and here I am in the US, and he's taught somebody in the US, and I this afternoon was teaching somebody in the UK. I was actually teaching an 11-year-old how to do digital multiplication by 11s. Oh yeah. How fun is that?
Tutoring without borders.
What's that?
I call it tutoring without borders.
Yes, it is really tutoring without borders. You're right. We get to teach kids from all over the world, and it is so much fun just to see them light up and get excited. I mean, I think it's so cool. There's so many things that we can delight them with that makes it so much fun, whether technology that we use or whether it's where we're from and sharing, you know, like what it's like where we live and that kind of stuff. It's really cool. And it's amazing. A lot of people think, oh, how can you make, you know, online tutoring personable? But it is more personable online. I bet I know my students online better than any of the classroom teachers that work with these kids.
Yeah, definitely. I find I used to teach the same student online and in person, and in person I'd often be teaching them in a guest room or in a kitchen, in a bit more of a, like a, you know, a planned space. But online I can teach them, you know, some of them go to boarding schools, for example. So, you know, arranging with the school, teach them while they're at school as well, during their free time. And you know, you see all sorts of funny things as well. Sometimes they have their dorm friends. Sometimes I'm teaching students at home, and sometimes I'm teaching from home and my sister is singing in the background. And I ask my students, can you hear my sister singing in Hindi? And they say, yeah, I can. I say, well, you know, I won't tell her about it. We'll both hear her singing in the background. So, you know, if I told my sister, she would stop singing. But, you know, it's a funny thing. So it's it's an amusing thing.
That's funny.
Yeah, and it's the same from their side, you know, because sometimes you hear that someone else sibling talking, or their pets. Yeah, a lot of pets. I see so many pets just kind of interrupt the lesson. Cats, dogs. And
there are many pets in my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
And stuffed animals. When you work with the younger ones, you get to meet their stuffed animals. I think that's so rocking on, because it's so personable to them, like them sharing their stuffed animal. And I make their stuffed animal like sit right next to them, and I'll actually talk to the stuffed animal and be like, hey, whatever they name their stuffed animal, Barry. Let's say it's Barry. It's a bear. Hey, Barry, how did Chloe do? Did she do a good job? And the bear would be like, yeah, she did a good job. And so it really like relates to them. I'm not a puppet girl, but when my kids come, my students come, and they have the stuffed animals, I can't help but interact with them and really bring it as part of, versus a distraction or something that could, you know, hinder them from it. It's a lot of fun. That's cool stuff. And we also have Elaine here in the house. Hey, Elaine.
Hello.
And we were talking about all the places that you get to tutor as well. You said you have been to Japan today so far.
Yeah, I've had 2 trips to Tokyo today, and I've also been to Jakarta in Indonesia today.
Wow.
Yesterday I was in Dubai and somewhere else in Ireland as well, and I had another trip to England last night. So it's been a busy week. I've been all over the place.
It has.
So it's great fun, isn't it? Being able to reach out and teach kids from all over the world. It's so fascinating.
It really
Atul was saying about the weather. Yeah, so we've had a similar conversation, because one of the boys that I tutor in the Arab Emirates, he was complaining at the temperature being only 18 degrees Celsius. And I was saying, well, it's -1, you know, and he was fascinated. So I always take photos or share the snow with them or share what the weather's like. So it's always a good topic to discuss with kids all over the world, because it really does engage them to start the lessons, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just a fun way. It's just a fun way to start the lesson. And my kiddos that are in particularly are in the US and by me, they totally understand that what the weather is like here with the cold spell that we have, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it is -55 with the wind chill. School's been canceled for the last 2 days because of how cold it is. And I had my students in the UK, they said, that's not even a number. I said, you're familiar with a number line, right? So let's go back here. You are familiar with the number line. Let's see where -55 is, just so you know, like, it does exist. It is an existing number, and it's an existing temperature. Unfortunately, you can't breathe in it, which is why, like, we have school canceled. It definitely is a temperature that exists. Not that I enjoy it. But let's talk about tech, you guys, because each of us has a different tech setup. And I think it's just so cool that we have 3 tutors that, you know, we tutor similar in different things. And at the same time, we teach in a very different way, which is so cool. So we're going to start with Atul here. Atul, tell us about some of your favorite tech that you have.
Yeah, it's very interesting actually, because when I started tutoring more than 6 years ago, it was completely low tech. It was nothing. It was just a webcam and me with pen and paper, and I adapted my entire teaching style around that technology. Which is, initially I realized you can't have pen and paper live all the time, and that you have to dictate stuff. You have to sometimes show it on camera, but you have to get good at articulating what you're talking about, and you have to encourage your student to articulate. And I found that very invaluable. I was getting more information from students because they articulated so much more given that distance, and I also articulated in a different way when they were online because of that distance. And the core of my technique is still based around that articulation. And so I would say, like, all the tech's been built on top of my teaching technique based on that kind of articulation and sort of everything I did before. Everything else is like a bonus. And you probably know it very well, Joanne, that I fought the idea of digital whiteboards for a long, long time. I really like you.
These used to be your best friend right here.
Yeah, they're so cool. I still use them. I use these with students. I mean, you know, you can always go back to pen and paper and a real whiteboard. When Zoom started coming up with the whiteboard, I started switching to it and trying it out. It was a bit sort of clunky, but not bad. My reservation with the whiteboard was it just complicated the technology, and back then with lower bandwidths, you really just had to like keep things extremely simple. Like the moment you add another variable in, that's just like one more thing that can go wrong on your end and on your students' end. On your end, you can fix it, but you know, it's kind of harder to do it on the students' end. You just have to then articulate. You become like tech support, really trying to fix it on their end as well. You need to know what, you know, are they using a Mac, are they using a PC, what kind of router is, what kind of internet connection, all this kind of stuff kicks in. So for me, it was like, keep the tech simple, just as simple as possible. But luckily, as technology went on, broadband speeds went up, cameras became better, and the whiteboard for me, like that's the kingpin of my tutoring, which is you know, it's no surprise. I keep mentioning it. It's bit paper. So, you know, and when I first discovered bit paper, I can't imagine not tutoring without bit paper now. It's just impossible, because bit paper has completely revolutionized the way I tutor and continues to do so, as like I find new ways of using it. And you know, bit paper is an online whiteboard where I can write using a graphics tablet, for those who don't know. So I just write on one of these things, and my students use it live on a browser. It's all browser based, runs on a browser. They can do the same. You can use a mouse, and the best thing about it is the two-way interactivity. And that means it's live. It's live for me. It's live for the student, and that kind of interactivity you would never have on real paper. Like, imagine you were sitting next to your student, and both of you were trying to write on the piece of paper simultaneously. Your body would just get in the way. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But on bit paper, you can choose 25 colors. I choose one color. My student does one color. Whenever I introduce bit paper to a brand new student, I do this, you know, I get brand new students all the time, and I see their eyes light up the moment I'm playing tic-tac-toe with them. It's like, you can do this thing. And you know, I use it for all sorts of tutoring. I teach it sort of advanced maths up to like 18-year-olds, to very basic like primary number bonds and dot patterns. I use the like really thick dots, and they just rearrange the dots, just move these colored dots around until they can factorize them. They can put it in a circle, they can group them. You can cut and paste stuff. So for software wise, you know, bit paper is the centerpiece, is the kingpin of my tutoring. I use it as a palette, as like a creative palette, cut and paste any question for a student to do from various places. And then recently I've been adding another thing to my tutoring, because I teach a lot of special needs children now with the dyscalculia, and they just need hands-on stuff, and I need to show them what I'm doing with the hands-on stuff. So for that, I saw the Hue visualizer that you're giving out being used. It's actually a visualizer used for classroom teaching. So they have the visualizer on the table, and then they project it onto on a big screen. And I saw it being demoed about 2 years ago, and I thought, wow, if it can be demoed on a screen here, why can't it be just used as a webcam? And whatever you're doing there can be just projected to your student as a second webcam, really. So I bought it, and I've been using that, and I pretty much use that daily as well as necessary with students. So they'll get their own sets of colored rods, coins, dominoes, whatever manipulative is suited to what they're doing. We'll switch to it. They have their own set. Then we'll just have a play around with that. So yeah, that hardware-wise, I'd say that camera, I've got my main webcam, and software-wise, BitPaper. It's still very simple technology. All runs on Chrome. There's no software installation. And just the other camera just runs on Zoom, which I can switch between one and the other. That's it, really. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is, it doesn't have to be complicated, and I think that is the tools that we choose to use. They can be as simple or as complicated as we choose. And so I think that's the cool part about it. We can choose to use like online resources and tools and share our screen. We can even have the kiddos be able to control our screen if we want to, or we can have the child share their screen. There are so many options. Now, I personally use Zoom. I believe both of you guys use Zoom as well with your tutoring. Yeah. So we're big Zoom fans here. So those of you who are like, well, I don't know what platform I should use for the tutoring. Now, people ask this question, platform. And so some people, when they say platform, they're wondering if there's an online tutoring they can kind of like get students from. And some are wondering like, what is the platform I can use to actually do the tutoring? So we personally get our own students. We don't believe in getting them from another platform, just because there's a lot of well, most of us, the companies here in the U.S. at least, they will underpay you for your tutoring services. Like they'll pay you between $10 and $20 an hour, and they'll charge at least $50 to $150 an hour for the student. So that we don't believe in that. We'd rather get our own students if that's going to be the case, because you're going to make more money. Even if you get one student, you're going to make more money doing that. So so for this, we're talking about, that platform. We're talking about that specifically of being able to of tutor. And so Zoom is one of our favorite ones, just because it can do so many things. What are some of your favorite features about Zoom, either of you?
I love the fact that I can let my manipulate things on my screen, and it just makes them feel that they're a major stakeholder in the lesson as well. It's not like a tutor directing all of the traffic towards them. They can move things around on the screen. They can really take control of the learning as well. So that's something I absolutely adore about it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. I absolutely love that as well, that piece of it. And you guys, so I have been talking with this incredible woman, Diane Clark, who is joining us as well. She's from Australia. And so it is really early in the morning for her. And she came on in to wake up and share some of her tech tools too. So I'm so glad that she was able to make it work. See, she couldn't sleep through us.
I couldn't sleep through the night either. Morning, everyone. So nice to be here.
I love how we are so diverse. We are from like 4 completely different places from around the world, you guys. Right now, we've got, let's take a look at our map. We've got, obviously, I'm from the United States. I'm over here in the lovely blizzard-ish conditions of -55. weather in Wisconsin. And then we've got Atoll over here in Europe. And we've got Elaine from right now, we've got her from Ireland. And then we've got down right on over here, Diane from Australia. How cool is that, you guys? I mean, we are representing today. That is really, really awesome. So Diane, tell people about who you are and what you tutor.
Okay, I'm a predominantly dyslexia and dyscalculia specialist. So left the mainstream classroom about 4 years ago, and I work at the moment still face-to-face with some of the kids and online with others. So I absolutely love what I do, and I just love seeing that aha moment with these kids. Yeah, I can read. So yeah, or oh yeah, I know that maths piece. I remember. I can do it. So just sort of seeing kids with their working memory, and it just all coming together, and thinking, oh yeah, I got this. So yeah, real passion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is that. I mean, I think that's what we all live for, isn't it? You guys, like, just they're getting it, or they're getting the scores that they want, or their confidence is increasing. Like those kinds of results, not only are they exciting for the child and for the parent, but they're exciting for us too, because we care so much and we invest so much of our time into really being able to help them that it's absolutely incredible. So, and by the way, like your whole like smart notebook that you introduced me to, I haven't been able to stop playing with it today. Like you have given me a new addiction. Thank you very much for that addiction. We appreciate that. But you're going to be sharing all about how you use that tool as well with your online tutoring. We're going to come on back to Elaine. Elaine, I'd love to be able to hear about what is the setup for you with your tutoring, because you sometimes are tutoring at your facility where you have come to well, right?
Yeah, now I've got to have a very mobile setup because I could be at my centre tutoring, I could be in my teenage daughter's bedroom. It's just wherever there happens to be a space. Now, this green screen behind me, if I just move back a little bit, you'll see it straps onto my chair.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Now I'm actually in my office. I'm in my tuition centre at the moment, but this green screen, it compacts into this little bag, and I can carry this around with me so that I can set up anywhere I like. I have also this tray which you can make nice and flat to fit in the bag as well. And what I generally do is I pop my laptop on the top, and underneath I place my drawing tablet, and I can work from wherever I am as long as I've got a small space. So it's really, really useful. I can just set up in a space just bigger than my laptop.
Nice.
So it's very handy. So I need that compactability in my tutoring. So it's great that I can shove it all in a bag and just go and teach from wherever I have to be. So
it really is.
Ideal.
That is very ideal. That is so cool. And so it's almost a pack and go, and it's so easily transferable no matter where you're at. And so then inside of Zoom, for those of you like, well, why does she have a green screen? You kind of notice right behind this map, I've got a green screen as well. But the green screen is because when we are inside of Zoom, you can choose any background that you want. Now, this can end up becoming really fun for the kids because they can personalize the background. So you can personalize it if it's a birthday, you can change it to like balloons, or if you want to make it look like you have a really nice office, you know, and not like working in the basement like I am, you can have a nice, you know, setup down there with a picture like that. For some of my kiddos that are younger, I will put on my universe one. And so they're able to see right there that it looks like I'm from outer space.
Oh, it does make it fun.
Tutoring from outer space.
Teaching from the moon today.
It's so much fun. I have some kids are like, can I pick one? I'm like, you sure can. Let's go find one real quick. You know, an activity that takes 5 minutes or less. You know, we find what their interests are, and I download it and I upload the picture. I have one little boy who loves trains, so I have a train background for him. So every time I do tutoring with him, he gets the train background.
It's cool.
It is cool. So technology can really make this whole entire thing really personable for the kids and cool at the same time, and really mobile, like you said. Like, this is such a mobile thing. For me, I personally am using I use a Surface Pro computer, and it's so light and durable that it makes it easy to be able to go anywhere I want to, whether that's upstairs in my living room or, you know, hanging out down here in my office or working in my car, or when I'm in a hotel. You know, I can go wherever, whenever. So I think it's just absolutely incredible. And it comes with a pen that I can just write all over the screen. So Elaine was talking about how she uses a tablet. Is your tablet thing similar to this, where you can like write on it?
Yeah, this is my tablet here. I've not connected it because I'm not using it at the moment, but it's literally the same size as my laptop, so it all fits nicely in my bag. And this sits in the bottom of the shelf, so I can easily write and type, changing over. Yep. So it's a mighty handy tool. I really enjoy using this. So it's a great piece of kit, and it's really inexpensive. Because I was relatively new to online tutoring about a year ago, I haven't gone for high-end pieces of kit yet. So I'm still working my way through. There's various bits I'm going to change. So for instance, my laptop, I'm going to upgrade that soon because the camera, it's all right, but I can upgrade and make it better as the business grows. So
yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And for those of you that are joining us, thank you so much for joining us. We have, it looks like we've got Simi in the house here. Welcome. We're glad that you're here. We've got Victoria. Hey, Victoria. Victoria says hey to Atal and Elaine personally there. That was before Diane came on in. And we've got Cindy Court Zamuda. We're so glad to have you guys. And Lisa Marty. Thank you guys. Anybody else who's joining us, tell us who you are inside of the chat. We would love to say hi to you guys as well. Oh, we've got Alexa. Hey, Alexa. She may be watching with two little twins on her lap. I love what a close knit community we all are, even though we are from all over the world. I think it's so absolutely incredible and awesome. Oh, we've got Raja Leek in the house. Hey, Raja Leek. Oh, I just love all the many faces we've got here. This is awesome. So now let's take a look down. We're going to go down under for a little bit. So Diane, do they call it down under where you live, or no?
As Aussies, we refer to ourselves as down under, but no, we try. So that, like, if we're talking to somebody else, yeah, but no, we're just Aussies.
You're just Aussies, that's right. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!
Aussie, Aussie, oi, oi, oi.
That's right. That's right. I was at a conference, and I worked for a network marketing company, and there were so many Australians in our group. It was so much fun to be able to hang out with them. They're so high energy and excitable, and it's just a whole new outlook on life. And I just had so much fun with all of them. So that's why I knew when you joined that script, I'm like, yeah, woo. We've got some Aussies in the house. You guys, when I was very early in my online tutoring, I was working with some students from Australia, and it was Friday night here and Saturday morning for them, and it was such a cool experience. I heard that you guys, well, I don't know if this is in your particular area, but they had these birds that were just absolutely insane birds. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but they had to put eyeballs on the back of their helmets so that these birds wouldn't come and attack them. What kind of birds are those? I know you know what I'm talking about.
They're magpies.
The magpies. Yes.
Yeah. It's only the male during nesting season, but yeah, it gets a little bit territorial. In actual fact, I'm sorry, we're taking us off track, but one school I worked at, we have another bird, a raven, and the ravens were actually pulling off our windscreen wipers off our cars in the car park. Yeah,
this
no,
is the
maggots
stuff
are good. They
we
can.
get to learn. This is the stuff we get to learn when we work with people from all over the world. It's so fun. And I heard that like kangaroos are kind of like deer out there. Like we have deer like constantly that are getting hit on the side of the road. Do you have that too? Like that kangaroos are like they're constantly getting hit by cars and stuff?
Yeah. In the more outer suburbs or outer in country towns. Yeah. In actual fact, where I am, I'm based in the city at the moment, but I'm in a lot of bush where I am, and so we have lots of roos around here. But this same school that I was working at, we actually, again, it was in a bush setting next to a lot of bush, and the kangaroos had come up on the oval. And I was doing a pen pal relationship with a school in England, and the kids were, this was year twos, and the kids were writing, and have you got kangaroos there? And I had to say, well, actually, yes, we have. And the kids actually, when you're on the oval doing sport, and you sort of say, okay, kids, find somewhere to sit, the kids would sort of look around and find somewhere that didn't have roo poo on the ground before they could sit down. Which is very unusual. Most of our schools aren't like that, but it was quite funny though. Yeah. We're really blessed about it.
Right now where there's no roo poop. Ew, I don't want to sit there. Oh, it's Simone in the house. Yay. We've got Simone in the house. It was coming up as SIMY, but yes, I remember Simone was on my call earlier this week. So, hey, Simone, we're glad that you are here. Oh, so cool. So tell us about the tech. You specifically love using this smart notebook. Tell us about that.
Okay. Basically, the program that I was using with my, or that I use with my dyslexic kids, is an English program. And so their software only operated on Smart Notebook, which is why, although I'd used it in the classroom, which is why I sort of had to then adapt it to my online teaching. I actually love it. It is, unlike bit paper, it is a charge, and for Americans private tutors it's $100 a year. It gets cheaper if you want to buy multiple years. It's a lot more dearer for us, so we're paying 300 Australian dollars if I buy a yearly subscription, which I don't. I buy 2 years at a time. But I can put backgrounds on the back, so if you've got Valentine's Day coming up, you can put a Valentine's Day theme on it. If I'm doing maths and I'm introducing the kids to the concept of multiplication is actually repeated addition, I can make, say, a group of 2 dots, and then I can actually group those together, and then I can go infinite cloner. So instead of each time having to put individual dots, I can just flick them across, and I've got 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2. So simply by putting the 2 dots there, group them together, and then go infinite cloner, I can just do as many times as I like. If I'm doing place value concepts, there's a representation of the MAB blocks, so I can, and they actually fit. So if I've got a single unit cube, then I can put one of those, then I can go infinite cloner, so that gives me 10 of them, and then I'll group those together, and I'll show the kids that that's the same as a 10 rod. So therefore I'm talking about, okay, this is the value of 1, this is the value of 10, and then there's a flat representing the 100. So I can produce the 10 rod, and I can go infinite cloner, pull down 10 of them, and it's going to be the same size. So I'd use the same thing if I'm doing decimals. I might have the flat as my 1, and then make a place value column, and then I'm pulling it aside and saying, okay, this 1 can actually be broken into tenths, and each tenth, see how it's actually the same size? We can fit them all in there, and it makes the same. So it's really good when I don't, and Atul, thank you for sharing that. Huey, I can't wait for mine. Been on order 2 weeks, so just waiting for it to come. But yeah, so in having to do it in a pictorial or semi-abstract way, it's still concrete. The kids, through Zoom, the kids can actually manipulate. So they're playing with it, looking at angles, looking at, and in terms of each child has their own folder. I save it. So for the whole term, I might have Callie 2019 term 1, and all her work for that term is there. But each time we just open it up, and this is exactly where we've been working. And then if we want to talk a new concept, I just make a new page and import new features into it. So for someone who might be doing history or geography, there's all sorts of saved files in there that they can access. Some might be real photos, some are actually characters. So if they're talking the judicial system, there might be a picture then and a character of a judge or something like that. So there's something like 5,000 different images and stuff. Yeah, and in terms of my literacy kids and my dyslexia, you can actually, if you didn't have the backup software that I've got, you can actually make the letter or the digraph, or and then put a little background behind that one, group them together, and then you'd have the sounds for the words and the kids manipulate them. So the picture that I sent you, that little child, I was doing a polysyllabic crumpet. So we'll go crumpet, and then we'll look at crumb, and he'll listen to the sounds, and he'll pull down k, make crumb, and then we'll look at pet, and then we have the lines, and he's going to join those syllables together, crumb, pet. Now the kids can actually write on it using the Zoom feature. So, and another little girl I've got in a regional town in WA, she's suffering a bit of dysgraphia. So I've got dotted lines on hers, and we're actually physically talking about how to write. Okay, at the moment her pencil grip is not correct, so she's doing sort of like this, and I'll get to that later. But I'm able to demonstrate to her, this is the starting point. We're going to go around and up and down. And so then with the dotted lines on the board, she can actually then trace around and follow it herself. So we can work together in getting the right direction of the font. So yeah, a little bit pricey. Agile and Joe, I haven't really delved into a bit paper, so that's on my to-do list. The other thing,
you know, it really isn't that pricey, but there is a 45-day free trial.
Yes, yeah, there is now.
Yep. And so I say, you know, try it out for 45 days. See if it is something that you like, and if it's going to be something that's going to be of value to you. At the end of the day, I mean, for me, it's 1/3 of one child, one student for the month, for the entire year, right? Like it's only $100 for the entire year. Like, and if there's a tool that you find that is like that cool and usable for your business, I say go for it. So let me show you guys just how simple this is. Cause like I said, Diana's totally got me addicted to this. I'm going to see if I'm going to hit this button here. I'm presenting to Addie, and let's see if we can present my screen. Can you guys see right now my screen? Let's see, we're going to go to the Smart Exchange. All right, so can we see, could you guys?
No, we're only seeing you still at the moment.
Okay, cool. So let's try this. Let's do this. There's a couple of different buttons here to make this happen, and I'm hoping I can make it happen. So share screen. We're going to hit this button. We'll see if this can work. My thingy is going round and round in circles. Like maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. What's cool is other teachers have already created lesson plans. Now there are tools and things that I've already utilized. Like I utilize Words Their Way, and there are all these different sorts for it. So I can type in the different Words Their Way sorts, and they are already there. And all I have to do is download it and then open it up on my smart board, my smart notebook, and then I'm able to have it pop on up. So it's quite awesome to be able to do that. Yeah, my thing now is just going round and round. It won't let me share my screen. Bummer. I wanted to. All right. But you guys can still hear me, right?
Yep.
All right, good. That's good, because nothing looks normal on my screen right now. So, you know, that's how technology goes, and it's always great to have a backup plan. This is what I tell people all the time. Like, you need to have a backup plan. If there's a tool you love using, also have another tool in your back pocket just in case something goes wrong. So if something goes wrong with Zoom, well, right now we're in Google Hangouts. So if you get familiar with Google Hangouts, you could switch over to Google Hangouts, or you could skip over to, you could jump on over to Skype if you were having a session that was causing some problems. You could try it out and have a backup, right? Or if, let's say, this week I had issues with, I love using Raz Kids with my business, and it's got this thing called Kids A to Z where I can have the kids read books at their reading level. And this week I wasn't able to get into it. And because I had the document camera, I was able to pull books off of my shelf and have kids read books right off of my shelf. And it was such a great backup system. It's like, you always need to have a plan B because you never know what's going to happen. And so as teachers, we're used to thinking on, you know, the top of our feet. As an online tutor, you are definitely going to be continuing to think on your feet. That is for sure. So what are some of the other tools, you guys, that you have enjoyed using with your online tutoring business?
Yeah, I'm just going to add on to this idea of having backup for everything. That's so important in online tutoring. You just don't know, you know, technology is what it is. Basically, it will sometimes go wrong. I think that's completely unavoidable, and you have to be prepared for that. And for me, yeah, for me, I've got backups of everything. Actually, I actually teach on a big desktop computer, and for me, I used to have a powerful desktop machine with a 24-inch monitor. I love having screen space. You know, I have like a screen there and a screen there, more space there. Yeah, and then I have a laptop computer. So if something's like Windows wants to do its update, that long update suddenly starts up. So, you know, just when you don't want it. So, you know, you just switch to another computer, and yeah, if something else goes wrong, that's like if it all goes wrong, I can actually still tutor on my iPhone. Because when I started tutoring 6 years ago, I was tutoring just on webcam, and an iPhone is surprisingly good. It has two cameras. It has a front-facing camera and one that looks at your face. So you can use it as like a document camera. I've got a doc as well, or just articulate. So, you know, you just have to be ready for your plan A, plan B, plan C. I've got the two webcams. I've got two microphones. Like this Hue webcam also has a inbuilt microphone, so you immediately got a option. Same with software. Get used to Google Hangouts. If they've got FaceTime, you can try that out. Zoom. So I'm used to FaceTime, Zoom, Google Hangouts. BitPaper has its own video. Skype. I've still got Skype. I use that for some students. So yeah, just like a bunch of different softwares that can do the same thing. If BitPaper is down for some reason, pen and paper, I'll just do that, or I'll just use a Zoom whiteboard. So, you know, just have plan A, plan B, and even plan C for when stuff goes wrong. And then that gives you, like, if a session's going bad due to technology, you feel responsible as part of it, because you're trying to deliver the best possible lesson you can. It's a paid for service, and you know, if there is a problem, I just tell clients that, yeah, if there was a problem on my end, I'll add the 10 minutes later on or something like that. You know, if it's a technology problem, you know, just show goodwill. But yeah, just having a plan A, plan B, plan C is so important. We've lost Joanne.
Yeah, I was just going to jump in. Can you still hear me at all?
Yeah, I can hear you. Joanne's not, but
yeah.
She probably
Joanne's
yeah.
frozen. I can see that. Now, I completely agree with you. Having the backup it's absolutely necessary, isn't it? Also, I found in some places students can't use a particular platform. For example, my two students in the United Arab Emirates, they can't use Zoom. So I've got WebEx, and although it's functional, it does what it's supposed to do, I think I'm just happier using Zoom because I like the feel and the look of it. I like how easy it is to use. But having WebEx for some students and having Zoom as my primary one for everyone else, it works. So it's just a case of having other things in reserve, as you say, just in case it does go horribly wrong. It's a good idea.
Yeah, you never know. You never know what is going to go wrong when you are doing all of this stuff. It's just now we just had a technical difficulty where my computer just shut down and I had to come back on in. Which very rarely happens. This is the cool thing. This very rarely happens when you are on Zoom. What will happen is if you have like a glitch inside of the program, it will like freeze you for a second, and then you come back and everything is good to go. And I really like that piece of it, which is cool. All right. What are some of the other texts that you guys enjoy, Diane?
I was just going to add to Atol's comment about the extra time, just in terms of anyone who's starting off an online tutoring business. Give yourself, say, 15 minutes between each student when you're allocating new students, and that means that you can then allow extra time if you need to, but it just gives you time to write your notes down. So it was just on a not technical but practical thing. The other practical one I'm going to talk about is QuickBooks as an accounting package. Now, we've got a different version of QuickBooks here in Australia from your US one, but I find it's absolutely fantastic program. I use it for my accounting and my invoicing. So as soon as at the end of the week I sit down, I do all my invoicing to my parents, so you can actually work out, I can set up a rate for my face-to-face students, I have a rate for my online students, I have a rate for cancellations. So unlike you where you do bill for the term or the month, I do it at the end of the week and send them out. When the parents pay me, it just goes straight through, recognise, come down and takes it off their amount showing. So yeah, really simple program. Payable monthly. Here in Australia I'm on about $27. Again, they've got a free or half price or something like that. They've got a special at the moment here in Australia. But brilliant.
$5 a month right now. $5.
Yeah, it's worth it.
It's
definitely
totally
worth it.
Yeah. I got mine for free because we have TurboTax, and the version of TurboTax that we have just comes with the QuickBooks, so that's how I was just kind of introduced to it. But I'd say any small business that is out there needs to have like this tool definitely on their computer, because if you even have it on your phone, you can get into the car, and if you're doing any mileage, like you're doing a lot of mileage there, Elaine. And so you can be tracking all of that mileage right on into your phone in QuickBooks, and it's only taken care of so that come tax time, you get to make all of those deductions, and you don't really have to worry about like writing down the odometer number or writing down the miles you've driven for the entire week or the entire month, or exactly where you've been and when you've been there, because it's all already taken care of as you've done it. Also, all of the things that you are, all your receipts, you can just snap them right away, enter it in, bam. You can't forget now. That means that you are actually saving money because you're remembering to deduct it. I love it, you guys. I mean, as a teacher in the classroom, we couldn't deduct anything. I mean, we had $200 allotment for deductions. Now, you guys know you spend at least $1,000 a year when you're a teacher in the classroom, purchasing things to make things run and do that kind of stuff. So, the $200 was kind of like a slap in the face. Like, seriously, you have no idea how much I write off, like that I buy of my own supplies to make this classroom run. It was absolutely crazy. So, today you can write everything off. Okay, you can't write everything off. I can't go. Well, I could actually go to Australia and have a business trip with Diane, and I could write that entire thing.
Yeah.
I could write that whole entire thing off. I could just travel around the world, you guys, and like meet all of you and like write it all off because it's a business expense. I'd be there for a business reason, right?
Yeah, get on over here for St. Patrick's Day. You'd love it.
Oh, God, that would be so awesome. Hey, that's it. I'm just going to start coming to you guys live from all of the locations I'm choosing to visit.
To the tutors who visit me in the...
I'll be truly mobile when my kids are out of the house.
I got news for you. They come back.
But they're old enough that I can leave and not worry. They can have this house for like they're fine to live in this house for like 6 months out of the year while I'm gone. I need somebody to take care of my house anyways. That might work. They'll be old enough at that point. It's all good. It's all good. Awesome. You guys are phenomenal. Were there any other tools that you guys absolutely love that you wanted to mention before we head on out today?
You know, there was one more thing I was wanting to share with you. I did buy an old document camera a long time ago, and I kind of fell out of love with it because it's a bit clunky, and I wasn't always able to get it to focus properly. And the last few days, I've had it out again and had another play. I will be buying one of these new ones that you've been showing, but I did want to show you. Well, they're great. They're fab. Now, I don't know if you've seen these books before. This company called Style. And I use these a lot with my in-person students. Now, with the document camera, I can easily use these to have the child match up the parts at the top with the pictures at the bottom, and it comes with a board, and you end up being able to make the pattern to match the one in the picture if the answers are correct. So these are absolutely brilliant. So
yes,
I'm looking forward to being able to use these properly with my online students too, you know. So I've got a whole series of these.
And you know what makes this, I'm not sure if your other document camera had this, but I did notice that when I play with this little round thing in the middle, it will focus things so it becomes in more sharp and clear so that they can read the word, so that they can see the things really, really well. And so that piece of it I absolutely love. So I think you're going to be completely amazed and fall in love with this tool.
Oh, I can't wait to get hold of one. No, mine doesn't have it's a kind of autofocus, which doesn't always work brilliantly. So I am looking forward to getting one sorted out. That would be great.
Yay! Yeah, so for those of you who you want to get in. Now, I'm not kidding you guys. Every time you comment on this channel, like watch any video, make a comment. Anytime you comment, even if you comment twice on a video, you are getting an extra name thrown in the hat. What do you think would happen? You know what, Elaine, if you commented 10 times on the channel, that's 10 extra entries in. How much more do you think you're going to win than the person who only enters in once?
I'm just going to get in when we're done.
Your chances just increased like tenfold, right? Literally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I should add, I met the Hue company, Hue suppliers at BET last week, and they are so excited to get tutors. They never thought online tutors would be a market for them, and they are totally on board with getting tutors. We'll fingers crossed we can arrange a discount for a little discount for tutors, exclusively for tutors as well. So it's a really good growth area for them. It's a great example of synergy. So this is a company that builds this great product that's been used in classrooms, which is now being adopted by tutors. So we help promote them. They help promote online tutoring in general. Like the whole thing just grows and grows and grows. So it's a great product that's at a good price point and very useful for online tutors. Yeah, bring it on.
Exactly, and it's already at a great price point. And I may even, as Eto mentioned, be getting a 10% discount code for people. So hopefully we'll be able to get that on into the mix, and everyone will be able to get theirs at an even cheaper rate than before. So awesome stuff. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. It's so cool to be able just to hear about the different ways that people run their online tutoring business, the different tools that they utilize, and how they are able to really connect with people and just make a difference in our kiddos' lives. I mean, this really does make a worldwide impact on your kids, and you are doing something absolutely incredible. So the tools that you use are just as important when you start tutoring online. Getting students is one bit, but then the second half is, well, what are you going to use when you start tutoring? So keep hanging out with us. We will continue to share our favorite tools as they come out and share what we think about them, so that you can run your business in the most effective manner ever. So again, if you guys are not a member of the Insider Secrets Club, you'd like to be a member, there is a link inside of the description where you can join us. Everybody here is a member of that group. And you guys, just out of curiosity, what has your experience been as an Insider Secrets Club member?
Well, I got to rave on about it. Okay. My first impression was sort of, oh, what have I done? But I have just been so supported by Joanne and all the videos, and literally anybody that comes in and got a question, I just say, go see Joanne, join the Insiders Club. It's the best investment that anyone could ever make. No, seriously. I started looking about 12 to 18 months ago for a support group, came across you, put it on the back burner. She must have been 2 years ago now. And then about 12 months ago, sort of found you again. Mm-hmm. And it is just absolutely, and I love the camaraderie. I love the fact that we, as you say, we're all over the world, but we're just sort of sharing in this platform and sort of ideas and stuff like that. Yeah, I rave on about it. Go.
Well, we are glad that not only are you a member of our group and our community, but that you were up so darn early this morning to come and join us. So thank you.
That's right. Actually, I'm thinking this might be a good time for me.
You get lots of time at this time in the morning. I know Elaine has been part of our group and our community for a really long time. What has your experience been like, Elaine?
You guys have just been amazing support for me. I don't think I would know 3/4 of what I know now if it wasn't for everything that I've learned from you guys. Right from the word go, helping to build the website, the search engine optimization, all the different ways to advertise your business, all the courses that you've done, all the conferences that you've done, so much. Now, I have gone from no online students last year at this time to 12 students, 13 students now. I've got one extra one, 13 students online now. That wouldn't have happened if it weren't for all the support from the Insider Secrets Club. So I am absolutely blown away with the support I've got from you. And I've got a ton of new friends. It can be a lonely job when you're on the other end of a career. So it's great having all these wonderful colleagues to reach out to. I love it.
I do too. It's so fun because, we just all get to we don't have to fly all over the world to see each other and hang out. We can just hang out here. But I'm going to make it to each of those locations. I'm coming to Ireland, I'm coming to Australia, and I am coming to London. Okay. They're on my bucket list. I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it. And I'm looking each of you up when I get there. So it's all good. So thanks again, you guys, for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And we will see you next week. We will be here at 11:30 a.m. Central Time. And we can't wait to see you. So enjoy the rest of your day, you guys. Bye.